Yeah, streaming swaps are really, this fascinating innovation that THORChain kind of led the charge on. And then obviously Maya is about to release them, in their with their own little twists as well. Fundamentally, the basic way a streaming swap works is it is just taking it's actually really simple, which makes it even more fascinating to me how profound of an impact it has had on THORChain, because it is actually really simple. What it's doing is, let's say that you want to swap, a large swap. So let's say you want to do $100,000 in one swap, which does actually happen quite frequently. And actually, I was reading recently the ChainFlip founder released he called it a manifesto on how they're aiming to get to $100 million a day in trading volume on ChainFlip. And one thing he talked about is that the majority of trading volume actually comes from large traders, which may seem intuitive, but it is a good observation that the majority of the trading volume that you see on a protocol like ChainFlip or Maya or THORChain is actually from the whales. They're the ones that are kind of driving things. So streaming swaps is a feature that is directly targeted at whales and making their life better. So what it's doing is, let's say you've got $100,000 swap. The protocol and the interface that you're on will basically break up your swap into many different sub swaps, so smaller swaps of the 100,000. So just for simple math, let's just say that the protocol reads back that the most optimal stream will be 100 swaps for $1,000 each, and that's how it breaks down your $100,000 swap into sub swaps. So your $100,000 swap becomes 100 sub swaps for $1,000 each. And this is something that you could do manually. That being said, if you did it manually, let's say with the Ethereum blockchain, and the average gas fee per trade is like $6, or let's just say it's $10, then if you broke it down into 100 sub swaps, now you're going to pay 100 times gas fees. So you're paying 100 times $10, which would be $1,000 in gas fees. So with a streaming swap, the cool thing is that it actually sends one transaction. So you pay one gas fee, but it still breaks it into the 100 sub swaps. So that's like the kind of the first piece of it, is that you're saving on gas fees. The second piece of it is that with each sub swap, every in between each swap, the protocol is actually allowing for a delay so that arbitragers can arbitrage the pools back to equilibrium in between each sub swap. So essentially, you've got 100 swaps from this whale, let's just say, and every sub swap for $1,000, it trades $1,000. Then it allows a little bit of time, let's say 2 minutes in between each sub swap, for an arbitrager to come in and rebalance the pools. Then it does the second sub swap. Then it allows a little time for the arbitragers to reset the pools, and then it does the next sub swap, and it just keeps doing that. And it won't swap the sub swaps until it can get the price execution that it promised you. What it's essentially doing is it's just breaking it up into smaller sub swaps and allowing arbitragers to rebalance the pool in real time. And the purpose of that is to get better price execution on that $100,000 swap. So if you have a pool with, let's just say $1 million in it, and this person comes in and they want to trade $100,000 in that pool, if they do one swap, that slippage will be north of 10 or 15%, right? But if they do 100 sub swaps and allow arbitragers to rebalance the pool as they do those swaps, a $1,000 swap has maybe 0.2% slippage. It's like it's a very small slippage on $1 million pool. So it's allowing that big swap to be broken into many smaller swaps. And then it's allowing that pool to rebalance in between each swap, so that you don't actually need, because like you could replicate that and say, well, I want to do $100,000 swap, but there is no streaming swaps. To get the same slippage, you'll actually have to you would need 100 times larger pool. So it actually makes the efficiency of the capital 100 times better in my example that I just gave. So the efficiency of capital in pools is massively increased. So this is why streaming swaps on THORChain took the trading volume. I mean, I don't even know what the latest figures are, but it took the trading volume like more than 100x greater than what it was before streaming swaps. Because it increases trading volume because whales are more encouraged to trade. And then on top of that, every time a whale trades, the arbitragers are also creating trading volume in between all the sub swaps. So you have like this exponential effect in terms of trading volume. And then on top of that, what all of that trading volume does is then create more incentives in the liquidity pools because of trading fees, which then leads to more liquidity, which then leads to bigger potential streaming swaps. So it's like this system that just feeds itself. And really all it's doing is creating almost like a partnership between arbitragers and whales who are trading. So it's actually like, and hopefully I explained it well, but like it's actually like this really simple thing where it's just breaking down your swaps into sub swaps. And that's really all it's doing. And then it just allows arbitragers to fill in the gaps. And by doing that, you then lead to all this extra trading volume, which then leads to more trading fees for LPs, which then leads to more liquidity, which then reverberates, the flywheel on itself. So hopefully I explained that well. But streaming swaps are a very big deal. Right now, there's $100,000 in the Leo cacao pool, and if you did like a $10,000 swap, you would have relatively large slippage right now. But when streaming swaps go live, you'll be able to do a $10,000 swap with the same slippage as like a $500 swap that you can currently do. So you'll be able to buy and sell massive quantities of Leo with very low slippage, thanks to arbitrage. So again, really important that we build up the liquidity here as well. And we're also going to be tapping this into the Hive aggregation technology. So, that is going to take us a little bit more time, but I'm already kind of working on that design and implementation. But we're going to be trying to get streaming swaps to work for Hive swaps as well. So like, let's say that some whale wants to buy $100,000 worth of Hive with low slippage. Imagine that they could do a streaming swap they could just literally put in $100,000 and then do a swap and then allow it to go through, and it'll go through with low slippage, and they'll do like native Bitcoin to native Hive with very low slippage.